All right, everybody, away we go. Welcome to today's call. Let me just check my microphone, make sure we're good. Can you guys hear me? Check, check.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. It is Tuesday, February the 4th of 2020. If I sound a little scratchy voiced, I am. My sick family got the best of me, and I will fight it off, and I promise to exercise it quickly. Just by way of scheduling, just so you are aware, on the 18th of this month, I am going overseas to a trip to Czechoslovakia with my son for a hockey tournament. And I am going to turn my people loose on you. So you want to block out those group calls. If you want to know the microeconomics of how we do what we do here, and definitely what's working from Autumn to me to Laura, and then the onboarding of the agents, my team is going to be fully available that week to do the group calls. And those of you that need to double up with me, we will do so either next week for your one-on-ones that you'll miss, or and it looks like I'll be able to keep the 16th and 17th, which is Monday and Tuesday. And so it'll be the following week we'll miss. So we'll make those calls up for those that need them. All right. All right. Let's get started in this helpline. Let me open it up here. We good? Who's up first? I know I asked some of you to come here with some ideas and some thoughts. So.
You said I was later on the list, but I'm here when you're ready.
Good, good. You stay there. And I think, Paul, you came out of the box hot, so let it rip.
Did you want to listen to the calls from my new telemarketer on Friday or today?
You know, I don't mind taking a crack at one of them now. You want to pick one and let's take a look at it? Sure. You don't have to wait.
I sent them all to you, so you can just grab anyone.
All right, cool. Yeah, hang on. Do you have one in particular?
I don't have them labeled, so I mean they're just empty.
Okay. Do you know which email you used for me, Paul?
Danny Griffin. Danny Griffin.
Danny Boy?
No, the other one.
Okay. Got him. Okay, I'm going to take them. Just so you know, by the way, this is a huge topic of conversation on one-on-ones. Chris and Allison and I had a conversation today about it. Really, really important. Scott Jones and I had a call about this as far as his wholesale business is concerned. I really can't overemphasize enough how important it is to get some recorded calls and listen to them. Okay. So if you have somebody on your team that's making calls for you and they're just embarrassed or nervous or whatever, get over it fast. And because it's not about critiquing us, it's about discovery. What does it really sound like at that micro? Like I just said, my team is going to be there for you next week. And that's what I'm trying to say. I want you on that microeconomic level of your business, because if you're not, you don't know what the consumer is saying or not. Hey, Tony, your mic's a little hot. Do you mind just muting me for a sec? Yeah, no sweat. Thank you. So ultimately, I was explaining this to Allison this morning, and on the wholesale side, I'll just explain it quickly before I listen to Paul's call. The subtleties that I've learned in 2019 are this. Number one, avatar is everything. When you start your marketing mind map off, and by the way, I've let you off the hook a little bit at the beginning here about a mind map. I'm going to hit you hard with it, and I can even hit it this week. I have to tell you that I've done some training for Mark Schwartz's team. I've done some training for Marcus's team, and I'm trying to feel my way into very specific, easy advice. And the most important thing I've been teaching them is you have to be greedy from the beginning and be speaking in your marketing and your telemarketing, and specifically this case, to that avatar. You're looking for them. And the questions you're asking are not just to get an appointment, just to get a package out. It's to get the avatar. That's the idea. The only people that will monetize, from expireds to probates to FSBOs to internet leads, are the avatar. And so what I learned about my avatar is that, and why I brought up the agents in their training, I taught them the very simple square of a strategic approach to marketing. And I tied it to the financial goal. I said, look, it's on the board behind me, actually. If you have this $100,000 net, gross commission income, you have to come down into this marketing thing, and you have to say, not just where are they? That's where we start. I want to make that clear to all the mastermind members here. When you choose a geography and you narrow that market niche, that's a very light but smart way to start. Is the avatar at or above this list price, right? And are they in the geography that I prefer? That's the lightest, smartest start we can get. But as you begin to have these calls, you won't really know what your avatar sounds like unless you're listening to them along the way, and you'll recognize them very quickly. They are the easy ones. Let that sink in. They are the easy ones. They are the people that say, sure, you can send me that. That sounds good. Okay, wonderful. Hey, by the way, while I have you, why are you thinking about selling? And they tell you. What motivation level are you? 1 to 10. I'm a 10 plus. All those things, Laura, would you mind getting me a glass of water, please? Thank you. All those things are 100% seeking questions and answers that will determine, is this your avatar? Okay. So for all of us, the avatar is somebody who appreciates that you're going to introduce a strategic approach to them. That is the unique selling proposition here. So it has to be in alignment. It's message to market match. So as these calls start to go, what I'll be listening for in Paul's call is, and this is Paul and I had a good conversation about this. Are we asking the questions that would reveal to us, is this the avatar? Paul, that makes sense to you?
It does, but I guess I misunderstood because I thought the purpose of this telemarketer's call was to get the package out the door, and then the follow-up 2 or 3 days later was me getting those questions answered.
No, definitely not if you're leveraged. But I'll take it and I'll work with it. Okay, how about that? I'll take it and I'll work with it. So let's listen to it and then let's discuss it. That's why I'm thrilled you brought them here, because that's what the helpline's for. Okay, so let's listen. And then let me give you my suggestions. By the way, any of you that missed the sales training call on Friday, oh, shame on you. That was a good one where I had Autumn in my hot seat. So go over there and re-listen to it. It's sitting inside the Facebook feed for the easiest access to it while you're kind of driving around. I would listen to it because I was able to show Autumn the underlying system and how the only change is context. And to Paul's point, we've learned, Paul. So I might have suggested for a guy like you that would be good. Again, because you've gone to Mexico City, what I'll be listening for here, because you've outsourced it, is she capable of doing a good job on the follow-up? If she's not, then what you're doing is correct. That makes sense?
Yeah, I never had any intention on her doing the follow-up. I was going to do all those myself.
Okay.
But we can talk about it. Yeah.
There we go.
Hello? Hello? Hi, I was looking for Wei? Yes, I am. Who is it? Hi, this is Sam with Cantu Group Real Estate. See, the reason for my call is that we saw that your home didn't sell the last time it was on the market. And we wanted to go ahead and send you a package of information that we think you'll find very useful the next time you put your home up for sale. I just wanted to confirm the address. Is it 40?
Okay. Way too fast, but beautiful tone. Okay. Way too fast, but beautiful tone. She has a dynamite phone voice, very articulate, but the pace, she's in a rush. And here's why. You have told her, and I'm wondering if your monetary incentive is to get the package out the door. How do you pay her? What's her incentive?
$10 an hour. And if any deal closes as a result of a lead turned into prospect by her, I'm going to bonus her out $250.
Okay. So you see that she is just trying to please what your original premise was, get packages out. Can you see it already? See how quick she goes through this?
I've worked it. I hear what you're saying. And I don't mean to be disagreeable, but that's kind of just the way she's always talked. You've used her for years in the past, and we kind of lost touch for a couple of years. So I just need to tell her when I talk to her at 4 o'clock today. We talk every day at 4 o'clock. That the feedback that we're getting from the coaching group is to slow down her. Well, and get the words right, and get the words right. I got other critiques here. Believe it or not, in 26 seconds, I have a lot of critiques because you're going to be shocked, and I'll pull it up on the screen here, right? You're going to be shocked as to the tiny hinges. This is why I said to you guys when I'm away, don't blow off the calls. Get on with Laura and Autumn and learn at a microeconomic level what we're discovering. These tiniest of hinges are really swinging the door open. So I want to show this to you and tell you what we've learned. So we've already evolved, right? You know how this group goes. We evolve as fast as we can. So let me try to bring this up here and show it to you at the same time that I'm talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think screen is on.
It's not yet. Now tell me, Dean, if you can see it now. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. Watch this, guys and gals. This is unbelievably subtle, but it has made a huge difference in the way I critique. Paul, I had the same problem with Autumn, and Autumn's been successful in the first 9 months, right? 9.5 months. but I learned because I listened to the call. And I'll even go back and I'll show you her mistakes quickly here. But so the idea was, and I was just working on this morning while I was having a conversation on one of the one-on-ones. I think it was with Egan. So I was looking at this and it said, now, even this, I even like the subtlety of this. I'm going to show you where too. I'm going to take out the word hi. This is how crazy, like detailed I'm getting because I'm hearing it in her calls. Paul, right? Like that's a call for the human being on the other end of the line to identify themselves as Paul or not. And if you get too much into all, hang in the, you gotta quiet the mics here. I can't police this and do it at the same time. All right. If you're banging around, you got to mute your mic. It's too distracting. All right. So the idea that Autumn came up with that she taught me was Paul. And she almost was saying it, again, this is 35 years of telemarketing practice and training and all that. So I think that's best practices. So when she answers the phone, I think the gal's name was Way. I can't remember exactly, but Way, right? So it's a question because now there's a lot of word whiskers happening if she doesn't do that. Watch, let's go back and listen to it, okay? I want to go back and I want to show you this. Let me just go back to where I was. I'm going to start it again. Listen to this.
Hello? Hello? Hi.
See, I don't understand that pause either. Is that a technology problem? Paul?
I would have no idea.
Okay, all right, let's keep going. Listen to this. Is she on a dialer? Is she on a dialer?
She's on Vulcan 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the dialer probably.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Hang on.
Hi, I was looking for Way. Yes, I am. Who is it? Hi, this is Sam with Cantu Group Real Estate. See, the reason for my call is that we saw that your home didn't sell the last.
Okay, that's a subtlety too. We saw that your home didn't sell. I know you guys might think this is corny, but I turned a professional telemarketer loose to go do some discovery. Okay? So you might think that this is patronizing. I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online. You might think that's patronizing. It might make you as a member in this group feel uncomfortable. But when it comes to telemarketing, if we have discovered your beautiful home is a trigger to get somebody to lean in and listen, suggesting you do. Okay. So, and even Autumn, I think, came up with that idea. And I know some of you said, I think, Paul, you said to me, well, what if it's a shithole? All right. Well, it's a shithole. I saw your great home online. What do you mean it's a shithole? Well, it's got a great location. Find some redeeming quality about the property and just change out that word. But these are very, very key copywriting words that are triggers. You, your, right? You, your, and because. All those things, all you Proctorites, you probably remember, he had stolen some copywriting word sheet from somewhere that had all those words in them. And that's true. They're all triggers. I'm calling you because I have a reason to call you. Okay. Because that's why I capitalize because it's in, I think it's in Cialdini's book actually as a real trigger. Like I'm not making this stuff up. I'm putting together this stuff over time. I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online. So that eliminates immediately, Paul, how we know you. We're trying to overcome objections before they even come up. I saw your beautiful home online and I noticed that it didn't sell. Not that it expired and all that. We've already tested all that stuff. We found the language to be confusing, harsh, like we are reintroducing the problem. There's no doubt about it. But the way that you reintroduce the problem matters. That's what we also found out. Paul, you with me?
I am, but I want to just jump in here real quick. When at least for us, I don't know how anybody else does it, but when we're on the dialer, we're not looking up each of these homes one at a time. I mean, it would slow down the entire process. So I'm willing to. You're overthinking
it.
If one out of 100 people says, "Hey, my home is garbage," what do you mean? Just keep going with the conversation. There's no way we can stop and look at each of these houses.
Just say we thought the value looked good.
Yeah,
Done.
Exactly.
Done.
Yeah, it's fine.
Done. We don't have to overthink this, and I'm fine with the dialer. This still matters, right? It still matters.
I'll use this language and not worry about one out of 100 people that might say the opposite.
Absolutely correct. Don't over prepare for the pain in the ass, because guess who? They're probably not. The avatar. See where I'm going? Correct. It all comes together beautifully if you just stick to the yellow brick system. Next. Okay. So what Autumn was saying the other day on the phone was what she had learned in the whole world of telemarketing was one, introduction. Okay. It's short and sweet, but I love the technique of asking the lead name with a question mark. Lauren, Laura, and a little pause. Right? That's all it is. This is from here. You don't have to say town name. You probably could just like 86 that. I'd probably even tighten that up right now because less is more. All right. If you think it's relative, you can add that, but I'm going to simplify the script. Paul, this is Danny Griffin from Griffin Realty Group. Done. It's an intro. It's as short as it can be without being too short, right? Next, I'm calling you because critical words, okay? Because you're going to see that this translates down here too to probate. I'm calling you because. I'm calling you because. FSBOs. I'm calling you because, right? Circle prospecting. I'm calling you because. It's a key phrase that triggers somebody to lean in and listen. There's a reason why I'm calling you. And Autumn's idea of authority by asking the name, Paul, right? Way. It's just, I can't believe how powerful these little subtleties are, but I'm listening to them on calls and I hear them working, right? Next, I noticed it didn't sell. I would say that probably one of the trigger words here that this kind of rolls on. So, right? That's more conversational. So I'd like to send you something that will help you sell it the next time. You know, something, it sounds more intriguing like a gift. You can test that word right there. I'd like to send you some information. I'd like to send you something that will help you sell it the next time. Period. Not, I hear all these word whiskers that people are coming up with. So if you've been off the market and if you decide to come back on the market, don't do that. Don't do that because this is such a small window of time within which we are trying to get that Trojan horse to be okayed, to be delivered and get inside the gate. And then lastly,
Danny,
yeah, go ahead.
in regards to line 3, so this has changed because when you and I were doing it, going over, it was, we'd like to send you a package we think you find very helpful the next time you go to sell. May I do that? Are you saying that, and I know this is subtle and a couple words here or there, but are you saying to send something that will help you next time, sell the next time, or a package of information we think you find very helpful the next time you go to sell?
I would say what I'm writing in front of you is the evolution that we have very much to date. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. I think, Paul, that this is probably the most important, like, simplification of what we're doing, right? So there it is. In my experience, listening to these calls that you all do, that Autumn does, in my experience, there's the shortest, sweetest way to say this. And I will apply it down here as well, right? To the probates, to the FSBOs, etc. Less is more. And then it allows her to slow down because what I find with a lot of telemarketers is they've been given so much to say that they're droning on. And I get pushback from members even in this group. It's like, well, it works. I know it works. I know it works. But this is time management 101. If you don't set it up the right way, we're not going to be able to get, ourselves to the point where we can define, is this the avatar? And is there an appointment available on the very first call, which I know all of you have been raised on. The idea was to book the appointment, but nobody ever taught us slow down. Nobody ever taught us to ask questions that might reveal, is it the avatar? So our discovery is, if you want to manage your time the best, trust me, Laura will tell you now, and when she's alone with you, we have learned one huge lesson about letting the wrong people in the right barn. Yes, Laura?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm reading an email.
Oh, okay, sorry, I interrupted her. I thought she could hear me too. All right, so I know, I'm just messing with you. All right, so Paul, there it is, nice and clean. And we just, it's just nice and clean. I don't know what to tell you. It's just easy, right? So same thing here. I'm calling you because I saw that you're the personal representative for, now this is interesting because in my heart, I feel like if you're not calling from a dialer, and Lee, you could speak to this one. If you're not calling from a dialer, I think it would behoove you to reference the name of the estate if that's available. If it's not, I think a probate estate makes sense because we have to introduce the words probate. But the jury's still out on this one because it's newer to me. Right? Lee, any thoughts on that?
We did not do that because it seems like the telemarketers and the ISAs, they just get kind of tongue-tied trying to get it all out. So we just say the PR of the estate.
Okay. Do they know PR, what that means?
Personal representative.
I know,
Say
but
personal representative.
do you, oh, you do say it?
So what we do, Danny?
Yeah.
So what we do on the probate, we download them from all the leads and put them into Mojo, and then we put the name of the deceased in there. So if they say a probate for who, then we have the answer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think it's irrelevant, and if you can get it, I think an alternative would be for the estate of Sally Brown, for example, right? So I think it's a good thing to consider and maybe test, and that's what the idea is here. We're going to beat the crap out of this as a group with real calls to see what is most effective. And again, Paul, you're right. The idea is the goal, or I said beat, is package delivery, right? That's what you're doing. And the second goal is to establish motivation. And Tony and I give Tony full credit for really pushing this in my head. I don't like timing and motivation. You know what I mean? Like I like reason and motivation because I think timing comes out of that. So in my mind's eye, where I was going earlier with Allison Egan was the second beat is about establishing reason and then motivation. Okay? Because timing can change. Let me make my case to you. If you do this properly, you all might be the force of change. A lot of people have decided to take it off the market because they don't know what they don't know about timing. Well, I'm going to wait till the summer. Well, why would you do that? There's less properties on now, right? See, that kind of information that's insightful might change the timing. So, I know people have tried this with this, kind of nonsensical term. If I could get you the price that you want, would you do it? Do it now? You might or might not be able to do that. Why not just ask simpler questions that said, look, what's the reason for not going back on, right? Don't give up hope. So I think that's all in this next beat. But let me go back to Paul's calls for a second. I want to listen to this. I want to listen to it fully now that we've gone very much in depth through the whole thing. And Paul, you'll be able to hear the difference.
Hello? Hello? Hi, I was looking for Wei? Yes, I am. Who is it? Hi, this is Sam with Cantu Group Real Estate. See, the reason for my call is that we saw that your home didn't sell the last time it was on the market. And we wanted to go ahead and send you a package of information that we think you'll find very useful the next time you put your home up for sale. I just wanted to confirm the address. Is it 4833 130th Avenue?
Never asks permission. So a couple things here that you'll find useful. It's nebulous language that will help you sell it the next time. It's an affirmative statement. We have some stuff that will help you sell it the next time. Well, what is it? It's really a pre-listing package that tells you what to do. In fact, if you really had the wherewithal, you could probably just use what I'm going to send you to sell it yourself. I know you don't want to do that, but I'm going to send it to you. Anyway, well, why would you send it to me? Because it's a free community service, because here in Seattle, in this zip code, this is what we do. Okay? Right? I mean, that's the internal attitude that I have for all of this stuff. So she misses this. She blows right through a couple of really, really important points. One, this will help you sell it the next time. So she's not attached to the package. Neither was Autumn. I swung and I missed when I first got her going. I kind of had her attached to it, but I didn't. So if I could have it back again, I would say you have to understand this is the real deal. When this goes to them, it's really what to do. It has a lot of its insight, built into it. Now they'll need to, have me extract it. And that's the idea for sending it. But this is the real deal. And the cover letter is a provoking thing that says, look, you have the real deal now in your hands. But what you really should do is talk to me on the phone so I can give you insight. Now she doesn't ask permission. So let's see where it goes. May I do that? It's a huge deal. If somebody doesn't want it, then that tells you that it's probably not the avatar. They maybe really have a sister or a friend or whatever. And she just steamrolls right over it. It's too fast. So let me listen to the rest of it.
And Southeast Boulevard? Yeah. Okay. I'll send it over and I'll follow up with you in 2 days to make sure that you received it, okay? Okay. Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So it's so fast that the lady's like, yeah, okay. There's no engagement. People will support what they help create. You know, I say that all the time. So the minute they are asked for permission, she does give it to her, but it's not that real, here, I have this for you to help you sell it. And I'd like to send it to you. May I do that? Yes, you may. Wonderful. Can I confirm the address is this? Wonderful. Super. Now, if she has the wherewithal and she thinks, and in this case, I think it's probably the case, she needs to go to level 2. Okay? Because otherwise, we're just wasting your time. Why are you doing it when she could do it? She's already there. She already got her on the phone. See what time management looks like? This is time management. She's there. So now all she has to do is confirm the address and say something like this. It looks like a nice property. Why are you trying to sell it? Now she gets the reason. Okay? She lets the lady talk a little bit. She hears how talkative she is or isn't. I mean, this lady didn't sound like anything other than interested. So the opportunity that we were missing too, especially in the probate call that Autumn was doing, was this. Okay? And well, she didn't even know to ask for real estate. She was just assuming it was the exact same thing as expired. So I was a disaster as a coach there. And then we straightened it out last week. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you? Well, it turns out those are the first 2 questions in the seller qualifying questionnaire when you're booking an appointment. So here's your leadway, your segue into booking an appointment. Because if she gets the answers to these questions and she finds out that the lady's really motivated, she can ask, hey, it seems, and this is where I haven't filled this in yet, right? So if I take this, you know, if I said like this, if 10 or above, okay, then, and we drag this up, start working on this a little bit. They go for the appointment right here. So all of you will be happy to know that there's no let up, but it's the way that it is set up, right? This is set up way better. I have for sure confirmation that the Trojan horse has been confirmed. It's going. So no matter what she says here, if I can get it, I'm going to take it. Okay. Geez, you're a 10. You know, we find that people that are 10, it might be better if I just have Paul bring it over and he can add his insights to it, you know, or he can guide you through it since you're so motivated. Something like that. I'm still developing it, but I'm certain of this from one beat to the next beat. I'm certain. Paul, you got me?
Yep.
Questions, thoughts?
One other thing about probate, just to make sure that the telemarketers and the ISAs understand that typically the older probates are the better leads.
Why?
Because the process, you know, like I just got a call from a lady and she's had the house for 2 years and she just finally cleaned it out and now she's ready to move on.
Yeah.
So majority of them, when you get the list, majority of them are fresh. You know, if there's financial troubles, they might be looking to sell, but typically it's been the older ones are the best.
Cool. All right. So now, you know, I want to hear your calls too, because you can see how subtle this is. This is super subtle. Yeah. And she misses a big opportunity. She didn't know any better, but she misses a big opportunity to save him time, to further qualify this person. Tony, do you have anything to say about all that? I know I had you go on mute, and I don't know if you're at the fire station, but this is, you know, very, you know, foundational to what I was talking to you about too.
Yeah, no, and you don't add anywhere. We're doing a little different, so I think I'd interrupt the call if I added too much of how we're doing it.
Still suggesting you try it. You got to have that first beat.
Yeah.
I still think it's a time management mistake for all of us. Look, I had to discover this. I'm not sitting here preaching. This is Discovery Live. All I can tell you is we're getting in houses and we're starting to realize that a real avatar built the right way. Plus, as I said to Tony before, he's emailing things out to these people. I'm telling you, the key here for us was the discovery of direct mail. Laura's doing it also. By the way, next Wednesday, I will definitely do another expansion call next Wednesday night, because we are in the thick of doing the same thing for recruiting. And we really believe that once we can identify an agent that is definitely the avatar, then we're sending the information. So it's different a little bit each time. But in this case, we can determine right here whether we have a real person, because your exchange of value has already happened. I have some information that will help you sell it the next time. May I send it? Right? Yes, you may. Wonderful. Exchange. The exchange has taken place. You now are in a different relationship within, I don't know, less than 20 seconds. You're in a different relationship. You might not realize it, but go do your own research on the law of reciprocity. That's what it sounds like.
Was that a segue?
Go ahead. You're up.
Was that a segue?
Yeah.
If it was perfect.
Yeah, go. You're up.
We were talking earlier during our call, and the concept of rewriting the ad for agents who want to do this for their own sense of self and purpose versus needing to do it for their own financial benefit.
Correct. So what we did.
Being that.
Yeah, keep going. Nope, keep going. Talk more.
No, being that that's the avatar that you keep going back to, and I don't disagree with.
Yep.
While I may not think it's the only one, I do think it presents the best opportunity right now. Rewrite using different words, choice of words in the ad.
Yes.
For want versus need.
Yeah. So similar to the cover letters, for which I'm going to look at as well. See, this is where copywriting now becomes the Trojan horse or the reseller. You all talk about retargeting. Think about what I'm saying. The retargeting ad is meant to repeat a message, maybe in a similar way, maybe in a deeper way, but to be consistent, right? So I'm going to show you how this is all one big system, and all that's changing is the context, right? So if I go in here and I open up, let me just see if I can open up one. I just had it open, restarted my computer. So the expired letter, let's go to that. And I'm going to show you guys that the idea here is that, what is he talking about when he talks about a Trojan horse? If I were in the house, if I were in the house, okay, with an expired, what would I really want to get across? That's how I started. So the idea of this copywritten, direct response, direct mail marketing is that you're sending this, and all you Buffiniites too would understand the concept of item of value. I don't know how far Buffini goes into actually strategically thinking about it like this, other than just getting something out that's interesting. But I wanted to do the job for me. So the idea of putting the word enclosed at the top of a letter, or even on the envelope on the outside, is to get action taken. This is a real trigger. These are real copywriting techniques. So now what Dean and I were talking about is, as you go down this, does it speak to the avatar? Because I made a huge point to him and all of you that avatar really matters. So it's not just the demographics. You start with the demographics. Okay, I want to be in this zip code in Palo Alto, and I want to be at this median price and above. That is a demographic way to approach it, and the right way. You narrow the niche down, then you go into MLS, make sure there's enough going on. But then as you start to have it work, you find the psychographics. So these letters, or any advertising, I was working with Dion Irwin and her team the other day on this, on some trigger language. And I don't know if ladies, you're on here today. I didn't hear you, but so the point is, it's the same kind of thing, and just little subtle headlines or whatever it is, right? So a market snapshot of competing properties that sold. That's a key phrase. And I underline it. And I title case it, meaning the first letter in each word is capitalized. So it stands out. And then our strategic plan. So those are the two things. What they want is in there, and what they need. So if they only read the enclosure, they're going to see those two things. And remember, if we got permission marketing the right way, then they're aware that this is coming, and that there's some information coming that's going to help them. So we summarize it very quickly. Oh, we got what you want. We're going to poke at your curiosity, your trigger. There's going to be a market snapshot, and this probably should be updated. I have to look at it. I've had so many versions of this, pictures and details of competing properties that sold. So I have to check the right one here, Dean, but that's an example. So now you come over here and you say, all right, so what do you do here? We say, Dean and I, and Lauren, you can answer this while you're sitting here with me. What is the main reason, okay, that you wanted to become a real estate agent? What's the main reason?
I wanted to help people. I wanted
Yeah, come on closer.
After moving back here to the Cape and you and Laura, just the help that you gave me, I was just like, this is what I want to do. I want to be someone to help others. And
what does that do for you? Deeper, like go now. Think the hierarchy of needs. I mean, do you have to have this job to put food on the table at home?
No.
Do you have to? Okay, good. So there's part of the avatar, right, Dean? So here she is sitting 5 feet from me. There's an example. Her husband's a great guy, gainfully employed, and she doesn't have to put food on the table, which gives her some breathing room, okay?
Right.
To learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because this doesn't start up fast, like here's your check.
No.
Right? Next, though, you do this with animals as well. There's a really deep-rooted, seated part of you that makes you special, that you want to be this person for others, which is in alignment with what we do.
Right.
But what does that do for you? What if this, in the next 12 months, you hit a goal that you set, what would it mean to you?
It just everything, just who I am inside, just that good feeling and feeling accomplished. And
Dean, there it is. You can hear it in her. It's at that self-esteem level. It's a higher level of a need, right? So the question begs is, let's just keep these two open together at the same time, and it shows you the avatar. And this needs to be changed now. You know, all 3 levels. I mean, by one has to be written, but it needs to be changed. So, you know, the bottom line would be here. Let's just take this out. And so I have this exact one. I'm going to go to a new doc. And I'll put it in. Okay. So now you start to say the very, very minute, just like up here, right? You have this letter. You start to look at these people and you say, all right, what is it that you would say right here? So the idea is something like this. I'm going to play with it. Obviously, it's, you know, rough draft to rough draft.
Hey, I got another question about it too. If we rephrase this, because you hear the passion for helping others, sometimes a need for personal validation or a passion or a need for contribution, is ZipRecruiter indeed the best place to put this?
Maybe not. That's why we go back to marketing. You're 100% right. Yeah. And that's why my inclination was, should it be on social? Because that's where you might provoke more of this. I do think that there are women that are going there looking. We'll see. But Laura actually told me the other day that in Boston, a lot of these guys were dudes. So clearly this is not the right ad. Right? So does helping people buy and sell real estate.
Who do you have there with you that you were just talking to?
Lauren Donnelly, who's a new agent with us. I've known her since she was a baby.
Lauren, can I ask a couple quick questions?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Do the words passion and helping others and validation and contribution, did they resonate with you? Is that like, where did all that come from that connected you with Danny, aside from the fact that you've known him forever?
Well, I see Danny has such a passion for helping others. And I mean, I just see it for myself, what he did for me. And that's what I wanted to be a part of. I see what he does. And I'm like, I want to be a part of that because that's what I feel that connects with me.
So it was more him personally as it was opposed to an ad.
What did he say?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh, yeah,
She's a client and a refer. You know, yeah. This is totally different. This isn't off the street.
Right. So not the ideal person to be asking these questions right now. No offense.
But to drag from her to say, okay, we found her one particular medium, but she's it. She's the avatar. This is who you want.
So where are you most like? Where is she most likely to see this? and actually absorb it. That's kind of, I guess, the question we've got to answer.
What would you have used if you were looking for a job when you were thinking about coming back here? Did you use anything?
Well, I would have used Indeed. That's where I found my last job when I was living in Philadelphia. Facebook, Instagram. Most of like people my age, I'm in my early 30s. Everyone's on Instagram. I don't know if I've seen Instagram ads for jobs, but that's where my generation is, at least, and the younger ones.
And then the question becomes, what's the best format to do it? Is it a video? Is it a post that says go click here to learn more? That's what we got to figure out.
Honestly,
Okay.
I would put it in your, if you have an Instagram or Facebook, I would put it in your story because everyone's constantly clicking on those. And I would put something flashy, something like we're hiring, and then you have to click again to go to the next story. That's how I would advertise it, in my opinion.
That is a wonderful answer. I appreciate that.
Say it again.
I would put it in your Facebook or Instagram story, and I would put it in individual posts, not just one long thing. I would do, well, like for us, Griffin Real Estate, we're hiring. Then the next one, you would click it, and then it would go to, send your email here or call this number, and then throw a picture in. So.
If you put it on Instagram, will it flow over to Facebook, or do you have to hit them both?
It would flow if you at the bottom you're able to click your Facebook, and it will then go over to Facebook. You just have to connect. Just make sure your Instagram and Facebook are connected.
Right.
Cool. So here's what I did. The idea of copywriting 101 is to enter the conversation that's already going on in the avatar's mind, right? Does the idea of helping people buy and sell real estate make you feel empowered? You can do it, but you'll need a plan. I mean, there's the hope, and hope is not a plan, right? So you can do it. There's hope, but you need a plan, reality. And then the call to action, Dean, is very, very quickly, short video here, plus your free plan, on-demand lifetime access, boom. So if we can do something quickly like that, maybe the rest of it begins to flow. But that's as quickly as that subtlety of what I was doing with Paul and telling him what we've learned. I think it's like thinking about her. That's what it is. And I can speak to Jen Swalik, who's just joined us too. Now, Dean, I told you, we are alive and well here talking about, a downline. So we are one piece of software away. Laura's doing the homework on the software to do a downline. We're going to do what EXP did, but we're going to do it more like a Mary Kay or an Arbonne, where we know the avatar is a woman who, and look, we've had some challenges with our women who didn't have that situation where they did have to make money. And so their job, quote unquote, had to supersede this, and you can feel very defeated and exhausted too easily. So like Lauren has the perseverance, to continue on here and is hungry. She's competitive. Was the number one doubles player, Barnstable High School, and then both singles and doubles in college. Yeah. So like you come with competitive edge, and I tell you that for a reason. I mean, she's competitive. She wants to win, right? So, and she's already got me going out to a house next week, which is pretty quick order. She hasn't had her license for more than like 45 days or so. Yeah, not even. So, and Jen Swalik Jen Swalik was doing a deal while she was, confirming that she was, signing our contract. So,
and then on her second.
What?
On to her second.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's on the buy side of that deal right now. So we know what they look like. I mean, Lauren's a little bit on the younger side of that avatar, and then Jen's probably in the wheelhouse of it. What the age, you're how old again?
32.
Yeah, so she's 32. You're old.
I'll be 37.
Yeah, Laura's 37, and I think Jen is in her 40s. Yeah, Jen
Probably, yeah.
So Dean, like everything we thought it would be is beginning to manifest because we've said it. Although you did hire somebody who's 18 years old. Why? Speak to that one. Why so young? Other than you saw yourself in her, I know.
Yeah, she's graduating high school, but is currently taking classes at 4Cs, got her real estate license while still in high school. She's just tenacious and very driven. And I just know she'll be good at this because she has really good work ethic.
That's something that I
Hold on.
noticed a lot of.
Dean, go ahead. You go.
that's something that I've noticed with. I got a good friend of mine who's started another brokerage, and he's got a lot of millennials. And I noticed that the more I listen to the words, there's a commonality between your target avatar and certain millennials.
Mm-hmm.
Where the words that we were talking about, the helping others, the contribution, the validation.
Oh, he's gone.
Read for them, but not drastically.
You got to say that again. You disappeared on us. We couldn't hear you.
I was saying I've got a good friend who's got a brokerage here in Queens, about 40 minutes away from me, who has most of his agents are millennials, and there's a commonality between your target avatar and a pocket of the millennial generation, where that contribution, helping others, passion really resonates a lot with them. Just hearing Laura say that with the 18-year-old, I'm starting to see more and more of that generation that's beat up, that really has a lot of these, to use a word you and I have used, mothering, nurturing traits within them.
Yeah, and I could just see it. Like I see these gals with their nurturing, but they're all like, and Deja Murphy, she's working on getting her license. She fits the profile exactly too. I mean, they're hungry. They're in here taking notes when they're in here. Lauren actually took over a desk, because she just wanted to be in and around it, close to it. That's the other reason, like when we're talking about this, self-motivation matters too. Coming back to, going back to some of the stuff that I was talking about before, when it comes to, sellers, you have to really go this deep into what I don't know if I mentioned this before, the psychographics. How are they thinking? Right? What is their psychological positioning? And this is why I think we got thrown off the scent over all these years about D, I, S, and C personality types. We may find that the ideal avatar still has a certain personality type or blend or ability. We might still find that. I'm not saying we won't. But I'm saying that's the kind of generic stuff that takes you away from psychographics. What if let's just presume that we have competitive people, and that so there's some series of D and I in the best agents that, and again, you're all entrepreneurial. So that's that secret little E letter that you can make yourself anything because you want it. But let's just presume it's just an agent is an agent is an agent, and they want to be an agent, and that there's some D and I in the best ones. Okay, fine. But what if a really qualified DI doesn't really have a reason, and they don't really have the motivation?
Then
well,
it becomes transactional.
You're dead, or nothing, or it becomes nothing. Oh, it didn't work for me. And so now here we come back to this concept of time management. Now time has been wasted. You have wasted time and energy and resources running an ad to attract anybody, to accept anybody, and now you spent time with that person, and now they leave. That's a loss. That's a loss of time, and a loss of time is a loss of opportunity, and a loss of opportunity is typically a loss of money. So this is why this becomes so wildly critical now that we know what we know. And so all of you that this sounds foreign to, this is all going into the teachable site as it evolves, so that like there's no big rocks left to put in the jar. It's now hinges. Like what big rocks? You know what marketing is. You know what conversion is. There's your 1-2 punch. If you don't have some consistency in your business, it's because you don't have a balance of all three avatars working. And for everybody that's just getting really moving, there's plenty of money in sellers and buyers right now when you do it correctly. And you stick to it. But you have to understand, let me go to another example, Dean, okay? And Dean, I'll work on this before, but I got started by just simply changing the top. Now I have to sit with it and wrestle with the rest of the copy and think about my formula. And I just made myself a little note over here. I've got to clean up the expired. But for every single context, the coolest thing that we've learned is we have a foundational core piece of content that is universally sound. A seller course, a buyer course, an agent course. Those need work too, sure. But they're good enough as a foundational piece to say, we are truly here to empower. We are truly here with this core foundational information, and we are willing to give it away to you so you know what to do with or without us. That's it. That becomes the unique selling proposition of all three avatars. Now all you have to do is focus on the microeconomics of finding the best one. And context. This is why I argue, and Lee, you can push back on this if you want, but this is why I argue a little bit about in our business, the fastest time managed way to get a seller that you don't know, I'll argue, is not probates, simply because it's close. It's a good battle. And like I was teaching these guys last night on Marcus's team, I actually have it on the board behind me. Once you determine that the seller avatar, you admit, not determine, you admit the seller avatar is the singularly most important number one avatar, because without listings, you can't do a lot of things. And buyers don't have the time leverage that sellers do. I'm not saying sellers are easy, don't get me wrong, but that's why we're beating on the formula. But the lack of having to go out and go out and go out and go out like we used to, we know that time management in a business is best when this is done, right? So now you just simply say, and I need people that I don't know. So all these choices that confuse people, why? Because when you look at it with a logical managed brain, if I need sellers I don't know, and I need to find them in the geography, where can I find a conversation quickly? Expires every single month. And I know people in Seattle will give you some pushback and, oh, we don't have that many. Fine. If there's 4 a month, call them all and exhaust them. And then drop down to this wonderful balance. Think about this, what I'm about to say here. A fabulous balance. Expires will ebb and flow with seasons. They will ebb and flow with economies. There is no doubt about it. Okay? But probates won't. People die all the time. But the problem with probate is it's not as obvious an avatar seller because we don't know if this property, we don't know if the property is at our average.
Yeah, exactly.
These are big, huge deals that are little distinctions, but that's a huge deal. If I know I can go and exhaust the expireds first, and I'm calling the people that meet my model, and I can begin to fill it, we're already manifesting it, okay? We have an average sale of probably just a little, and 2 of them were at 3%, 1 was at 2.5, so we'll do the blended rate as it goes on. And 1 of them referred an 800,000 plus or minus deal, which will start off at 6%, 3.3, right? So already, in only 9 months, it's borne fruit. Now, if we hit a couple of the bombs we have, how could we have done that with probates was my only argument in my own head. However, now I want the balance immediately. Because you wouldn't want to wake up and have an explosive economy dry this up. In Boston, we're like Seattle. There's just not many of them. And now that it's starting to cool, we're getting a few of them. So I don't mean to go off on that tangent other than for the reason that I'm trying to show you guys, I am not cheating in my business anymore to just make a whimsical decision. I ask myself against the backdrop of a model, does that make the most logical sense? This is why I can manage Paul's call by saying, okay, it does make sense. And I do know my unique selling proposition of the company. So I have to express the unique selling proposition instead of these goofy, I'll buy your house. It's a tagline for a campaign. It's not a unique selling proposition for a company. So when you actually have somebody pick up the phone and they don't understand that core fundamental of the company, that, look, we empower people with information. And that's why Lauren's our best guinea pig going through the course. Did it make sense? Did it not make sense? You know, same thing with sellers. If we could get a seller to sit down and say, go through this thing, tell us what makes sense. Now the people, you have the big rocks, but the beating and the feedback of the system is telling you how to refine what you say to an expired, how to refine what you write in a letter, how to refine what's important to them, how to make the consumption of it easy and logical. So that's how it ties in so easily. Think about what's up on the board here. If you can see me on Facebook, if you can't, I'll put on the